Hey everyone, welcome to this daily Sidereal Astrology forecast for Tuesday, July 7th, 2020. All right, so today we have the moon well set in grounded Capricorn. So the theme, great for things that require time, patience, or discipline. Could be a great way of working with the day and maybe noticing some themes in terms of what we can develop this phase of the cycle. Now the phase we're in is coming off of that lunar eclipse we just had on Sunday. So if there has been any shifts of awareness since then, it could be a really good week to implement these things as we do enter the disseminating phase of the cycle. Now going into tomorrow, we do have Mercury, the planet of our mind and communication, who is retrograde, will be squaring up to Mars, the planet of our initiative, drive, and assertiveness. So good to find balance with this. If there is a bit of maybe drive with what you want to use your mind with or learn about or communicate, finding the healthy and non-attached and constructive ways of working with that. And maybe if there's not enough of that assertiveness, maybe incorporating some of that and challenging ourselves to use that with our, again, mind and communications. All right, so let's take a look at all this here in more detail when we return. All right, so here's the sky for this Tuesday. And again, we are using the visible sky called true sidereal astrology. This does change the signs from mainstream astrology, so you will notice a lot of the signs are different. I did mention in the previous videos that the lunar eclipse is in Sagittarius, and that is where it was visibly, but you will hear in mainstream astrology that it was actually in the constellation Capricorn. So the signs do change, and if you are new to this sidereal astrology, definitely check out that link down below for more information. All right, so let's take a look here at the moon's placement representing the theme of the day in responsible and time-based Capricorn. All right, so Capricorn, the sea goat, is all about taking things one step at a time towards some sort of longer-term plan, achievement, or aspiration. And so it's a great way of working with the day here, and we could notice some themes perhaps of needing to do this or just good to do this in regards to any shifts of perspective we've had since the weekend. Because during the weekend, we did have that lunar eclipse full moon, and that was about shifting perspective, taking a step back, doing that status check, seeing how some of that more free-spirited energy is in our life, or just how the energies of our life are going. And now moving forward for the remainder of the cycle for the next roughly 2 weeks, how can we implement these shifts of perspective? And in this case today, great way of working with it is with responsible, discipline, and time-based Capricorn. So in terms of the aspects, we do have Mercury starting to square up to Mars. Mercury is retrograde in Gemini. And so in this case, Mercury, the planet of our mind, communication, learning, especially in Gemini, is retrograde. So it is still good to be, re-examining things in regards to this, maybe going back and re-editing things, re-communicating things, or just giving, a lot of flexibility with things in our life at this time. But with the square starting to go into effect as the day unfolds, we may find this bit of a challenge to incorporate that mental and practical side of ourselves with the more assertive and initiating side. So this can come through our communications, it can come through just the way we're perceiving things, but all in all, as the day unfolds, it's great to see how we can have those healthy Mars energies. Mars is about assertiveness and initiative and taking action. And so in this case, how can we do that constructively? Because sometimes during squares, because it is very different and hard to integrate, there can be some over and under extremes. Sometimes with squares to Mars, we might be overly attached, really wanting to communicate that thing because it's very important to us, or get that thing or whatever. It's very much around those personal needs and desires. But sometimes there's also not enough. Sometimes maybe with squares to Mars, especially with Mars and Pisces, which we'll take a look at, maybe there isn't enough of that initiative with the communication or that action with the, in this case, perhaps routine. So it is about finding that balance, and as the day unfolds, asking ourselves, how can we do that? How can we integrate the practical with the assertive, the communication with the assertive and initiating, right? And maybe even use our minds to challenge ourselves to get some things done, perhaps, or pursue some of these goals as the day does unfold. But again, with non-attachment and with this conscious intention and awareness so that we can do that stuff in constructive ways. And in fact, it can be a very constructive time for, again, getting things done that do involve mind and communication. With that being said, Mars is in receptive Pisces, so there is this very strong importance of being more receptive when we are taking action right now anyways, right? Mars is fire, Pisces is water. It's the vastness of life, it's the oceans of life, and that is where our assertive side is operating collectively at this time. So sometimes it's better to put energy towards the current, where the current is going, instead of against it, right? And so a really good time of listening, of feeling, of trusting our inner guidance, our intuition, and possibly putting some action towards some things that are important to us on a soul level or spiritual level, right? So that could be a great way of working with some of this Mercury energy. Again, any ideals, dreams, things important to us on a soul level that we do want to incorporate practically, right? And this is the square. The square is between this difference between the water of Pisces and, in this case, the air of Gemini, right? This is the mental, the practical, the left side of the brain stuff, and Pisces is the more etheric, spiritual, inward, emotional aspects. So how can we integrate both here today as the day unfolds, and in this way can be very, very constructive? Because what good is the dreams and ideals if we can't work with them practically? And also vice versa, what's the point of all this thinking and practical life if we aren't doing what's important to us on a soul and spiritual level? So that's a great way of working with the day as the day unfolds. All right, but again, give some of that flexibility with Mercury retrograde. Still a good time of experimenting and trying new things. All right, but today specifically, as we go into tomorrow, we do have the moon in Capricorn, making themes around discipline, responsibility, persistence, perseverance, seeing the long road. Anything we can do from that perspective, I think, is a great way of working with this phase of the cycle. All right, so everyone have a fantastic day. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to click that like button if you haven't yet. If you're new to the channel, subscribe for more daily videos, and I'll see you all tomorrow for the next daily forecast. Take care.